From 10-year-old black belts to BJJ mastery in the matter of a summer vacation, there's a lot of discourse over how long it should take someone to get their black belt. Well, I have black belts in the major styles of karate, several opinions on the matter, and I've pretty much seen it all in my 20 plus years as a martial artist. A friend of mine in college started taking Taekwondo classes, and once he learned I was a martial artist, he invited me to the dojang. The black belt behind me in class told me that he was 12 years old. His technique was decent, but in my opinion, not really decent enough. Later in the class, we were doing kicking drills with these very thick pads, and one of the instructors, a third-degree black belt, was my uke. I don't know what they call it in Taekwondo, but he was holding the pad for me. And I was going, at a moderate sort of pace, moderate force. At the time, I was lifting weights heavily, so I was strong, but I wasn't there to, make a statement. So I'm doing these kicking drills, and after the second or third kick, again, an instructor, third-degree black belt, he's like, should I go get my mouth guard if you're going to kick like that? Okay. So I pull back a little bit, give him a couple more, and then he just decided he's not going to hold for me anymore because I'm being too extreme. The Taekwondo instructor said I was kicking too hard or effectively. The guy outweighed me by like 70 pounds, so I really don't understand what the problem was. Later, it was revealed by my friend that the sensei, or the Sifu, the leader of the school, had been recently kicked in the groin. He was very embarrassed about this, and as a result, he made a sweeping rule across the school that only light contact was ever allowed again. Now, when I talked to the teacher after class, he had told me, clearly you have some experience. He told me that if I paid tuition for 3 months, I would be at a black belt level. He didn't say if I trained for 3 months. He said if I paid 3 months of tuition. Ding, 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 ding. Meanwhile, you'll see these videos of these 8-year-old kids in Japan with black belts, but their technique is perfect. Their technique is better than mine will ever be, and likely yours, and that's fine. They deserve their black belts. They have earned it because they understand what a black belt actually is. So how long should it take? Well, it depends, but in my opinion, it should take at least 1 year between brown belt to black belt. And depending on your skill level, your training frequency, it should take at least 2 years to get to brown belt. The time between each belt should increase, right? So you start at a white belt, maybe in a month and a half. 2 months, you're ready for yellow. Maybe in 3, orange, 4.5, 5, blue. It continues to escalate. I got my first black belt after about 4.5 years of combined training, but I took several breaks, so maybe that time would have been less if I had consolidated it in one go. But 4.5 years of solid, consistent training time. Honestly, I wouldn't have even minded if it had taken another 6 months or so to get my black belt. I mean, I kind of was expecting that, so I got mine earlier than I was anticipating. I've reached competitive or professional levels of competency in multiple disciplines, and my personal sweet spot is around 3 years of nearly daily training and complete mental devotion to only bettering that single craft. Now, of course, that is when I can devote 100% of my time to it, and that is considering that I am a natural, right? I have a lot of genetic gifts. So I already have many advantages, and going at my maximum speed, at maximum intensity, is at least 3 years. In college, when I was training to be a dancer, this often looked like anywhere between 6 to 14 hours of classes or rehearsals, 6 to 7 days a week, and that is not counting studying time or stretching time outside of the dance studio. So in my mind, anything less than 3 years is going to require Olympian level genetics and more hours than could possibly exist in a day. The thing you got to consider about skill acquisition is that frequency matters more than duration. You will get far better training 1 hour, 7 days a week for a total of 7 hours of training time than you would training for 10 hours 1 day out of the week. That frequent exposure to the stimulus is what builds those neural pathways as quickly and efficiently as possible. And remember, black belt is not the end, but the beginning. Achieving the rank means you have completed the curriculum, not that you have beaten the game. Okay, this is a high school diploma, not a retirement package. Now you're qualified to begin educating yourself. Maybe go for that PhD thesis. Either way, you are prepared to expand your basic level understanding. Maybe that looks like cross-training or testing yourself and your assumptions in the wider world, whether that's in class or in a tournament. In the end, ultimately, it is a tool belt, not a championship belt. The more time and energy you invest in your tools, the higher quality work, punches, thoughts you will produce. People can very easily tell the difference between handcrafted quality and a cheap knockoff. When people look at you, what do you want them to see?